Good evening, everyone. This is Pradeep, Ambassador of Change from GETI, the Global Education and Training Institute of Lucknow. We are the premier institute for training teachers and principals in India and many parts of the world. We have many in-service and pre-service programs. And for more information, please go to 7408401000. Right now, you are on a disruptive education platform provided to us by our mentor, Dr. Sunita Gandhi. And on this platform, we have met with and interacted with more than 1,500 educators from India and all over the world. And this evening, we have for you Dr. Aruna Wadkar. She is the founder and director of the Harvest Educational Transformation Solutions from Bangalore, Karnataka. Uh, she is the president of the WICCI, the Women's India Chamber of Commerce and Industry for Karnataka Training and Development Council. She has 30 years of experience and comes from an army background. She believes in transformation of learning, teaching, and leadership towards a global outlook, ensuring ethics and lifelong learning. She's been a speaker and panelist in numerous conferences. She has been a principal in ICSC and CBSE schools, as well as a director and trainer for teachers, parents, and corporates. She's fond of reading and painting, and she has won many awards, starting from Best Teachers Award in 1998 to the Top Woman of Substance 2020 on Women's Day and speaker by St. Teresa University of Peace and Education. Then the Pillars of India Award 2021, Record Achiever ESN Publications. Global Education Excellence Award 2021, Global Child Mission India. The Global Woman Iconic Award 2022, the Life Foundation, and Unstoppable Star Honor Award 2022. Welcome, ma'am. Good evening. And she's going to be speaking to us today on the new learning ecosystem. Thank you for being with us, ma'am, and over to you.
Good evening, Mr. Pradeep. Thank you so much for the warm introduction. And yes, the disruptive education is the need of an hour to get to know many more things which needs to be implemented in our education system. Great. So thank you so much, Dr. Sunita, for having this platform for the educators to come and share their thoughts on education on the various topics as such. And yes, Dr. Sunita Gandhi is really doing a wonderful job because I've been attending her ed conferences. I have attended twice, and it's literally she's working too much towards the education, and she's bringing a change. Thank you so much, Mr. Pradeep. And yes, the new learning ecosystem. What do we understand by the new learning ecosystem? It's an education ecosystem.
Ma'am,
Yeah.
ma'am, your presentation is not on. It's on some other
No,
presentation.
I'm just talking and then I will be going ahead and presenting. Okay. I'll do that.
Okay, sure.
So it's a decentralized learning ecosystem for online education and professional development that teaches or coaches or mentors people how to build complete products for the future technological fields or the curriculum for the future technological fields and to improve their job skills. So the ecosystem of the educational consists of the two, networks. That is the internal and the internal ecosystem and the external ecosystem. So how does this work when I'm talking about it? Some may, or some of them are already aware of this new learning ecosystem, but actually the new learning ecosystem is a symbiotic environment where people interact with their content, technology, data that surround them to facilitate and deliver learning experiences based on the governance quadrant set by the organization. It could be any board, any organization but then it should be in a system where everyone can go ahead and channelize it in the learning system. When we talk about I just gave a hint on what is the learning ecosystem. But at the same time, let me tell you that it also aims to bring culture into the curriculum of individual subjects and larger subject areas in various grades of schooling, focusing on socialization, cultural identity, media and responsibility for nature, environment and sustainable development, values and skill development. The core learning aim is that students learn as members of a community and express themselves freely and creativity. And this new learning ecosystem, the one that had defined just now, very much relates to the new education policy as well, because more of socialism, more of creativity, more of critical thinking, more of practical, more of experiential. That is what is the new learning ecosystem. But at the same time, it has to be, or it looks possible to create a flexible and a radical personalized learning ecosystem as well, which can meet the needs of all learners and has the adaptability to keep the evolving with the ever changing world, innovating world towards the vibrant learning ecosystem. Let us move forward and little bit learn more about it, because yes, the new NEP has brought many changes, but we are still in the transition phase of getting into the implementation of it. So here when we talk about the new learning, which means the knowledge sharing ecosystem, innovation ecosystem, learning ecosystems, stages of learning ecosystem development, impact of learning ecosystems on existing learning provision. So, what is that we are getting into? Is it just the 5 pointers which came to our mind to put it into a framework? So, when we say that connected learning ecosystem, what is it? It is in a circle which we are evolving around the process, the principles, the people, platforms, programs, policies, and procedures, and parents, students. So, all come in this evolving circle of the new learning ecosystem. So, but how many of us are we really, really into this completely? Are we training our teachers? Are we coaching our students in a different way, which can give a curiosity to themselves to question? Are we allowing them to question? So let us see how, a bit of why are we looking into an ecosystem. The new learning ecosystems globally are waking up to the step changes they will have to make if everyone, it is young and the old, the experienced and the freshers, whoever it is to thrive in our increasing digital, complex, and rapidly changing world. So then whatever system that we are bringing in, it has to be adaptable, it has to be flexible, it has to be the change, but it should be the other the circle, the vicious circle that I just spoke about. They need to be aware of these changes. So the new learning needs to become an avenue through which global society will overcome the challenges, the gaps, and barriers that we have created ourselves. So, okay, we have a certain mindset in our own self that okay, this is how the education system should go. This is how the learning ecosystem should go. But how far are we thinking that we really need to look what we have to change as educators, what the learner has to learn about with the new changes? Are we really getting into the depth of it? At the same time, the digital division, the imbalance of the information laws, the growing economic and the social inequality, religious ethnicity, and the cultural division, and the extreme ecological pressures that we are placing upon this earth. And why do we have the sustainable development goals? Because that is where it's forcing everyone to be thinking out of the box in what way we can change, or how in what way we can maintain the ecosystem. It could be the ecosystem of environment, it could be the ecosystem of learning, ecosystem of maintaining our world together, the greenery, the environment, the avoiding the pollutions. So what are we looking at? So these are the challenges and the gaps that we are talking about. Now, everywhere you go, we are having n number of programs on the SDG, Sustainable Development Goals, where we, as my organization, has participated with students and teachers as well. So, when we talk about coming back to the learning system, when we come back, it is the subject centric. We do didactic. One size fits all model is widely recognized as insufficient. But why? Because instead of being the subject, yes, subject is important, but the learning should be student centric. How far are we doing delivering our subjects, or our curriculum is designed in such a way that we are very much student centric than the complete subject centric, right? So we have to give a thought to in what way we have to build our ecosystem of education or the learning. However, the OECD, the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, Indian education system, or India, has also joined this organization, which is recognized by the number of agencies working to transform education, including now the what I mentioned, the OECD, with its Education 2030 projects. And the same view, or the same point of view, our focus of new education policy is also towards it. So as India has joined hands and been a part of the OECD, then definitely we have to work ahead towards that. So that's the reason why we are looking into the new learning ecosystem. So simultaneously, when when we are thinking about it, the thought leaders, maybe it's you and me and each educators who have huge experience, who are the youngsters who are stepping into education, have very creative mindset. That I mean, my references to the towards the teachers and system leaders alike have begun to explore now whether the opportunity exists to create the dynamic, diverse, and evolving learning ecosystems which enables all our young generation to be the lifelong learners. Because certain part of time, what one as an educator, we think that, oh yes, we know everything because we have spent 3 decades into the education system, so I know everything. But according to me, even you have spent 4 decades, we are still learning, because until unless we cannot upgrade ourselves to the present trend, or understand the pulse of the current trend of our children, we are nowhere moving forward. So that's the powerful range of assets that what we have to inculcate in ourselves to move forward. Okay. Another point to be noted here is reconfiguration of education system and a collective mindset promise to create the conditions for more dynamic and powerful collaborations which stimulate and enables innovation. Yes, we talk about collaboration. Collaboration is the very, very important factor, whether it is between the organization, whether it's between the student to student or the teacher to student. Any collaboration makes a huge difference, because thoughts are put together, thoughts are discussed over that, and then you have the outcome on that. So that is the collaboration is a very, very important factor. So, however, just to get to the point here, is do the real world learning ecosystem, which really represents the new learning paradigm. The new learning paradigm, which each one of us know, which either we have to create that, getting to know what is the new education policy coming up with the 2030, having a focus of 2030, or we have to implement what we get from our boards or from the central. So that is where we have to really, really work on them. So yeah, and the exhaustion of the existing educational paradigm, what exactly is that? So, most education systems struggling to keep pace with the rapid changes in society, the workplace, and across the world. Are we really doing, keeping the pace towards the changing education system? Are we really doing that? Each school management, each principal or teachers should have a thought on this. Is the management or the school management training the teachers to that, getting the teachers who are really, really capable, But yes, let me tell you, all teachers are capable. But until unless we mentor them to give or to deliver or to impart what they really have to. So in that manner, how are we arranging these things? So are the principals really focusing on giving a new paradigm shift to their schools? And that cannot come easy, because that has to have a passion, that has to have the knowledge, and at the same time how you want to save the future generation. So that is where we are having a lot of a gap, but then we can definitely work towards it. And because of not having met the criteria to how to go ahead about the education system, they are failing to tackle some of the key issues, like the Perkins 2014 of the time, and at worst are contributing to them. We have to think on all that, but are we really looking back to those pointers? We have to think on that. The growing gap between the education system we have and what the future needs from education, that's face it 2011, Clayton et al. 2008, is the burning platform that has sparked a call for a paradigm shift, which learning ecosystem may begin to offer. So it's the learning ecosystem is nothing that is new and something out of the box that comes up, but it is the reframing, redesigning, rethinking how we say about, you learn, unlearn, and relearn. So that's how you have to really think upon the one that we had before, and how are we reframing it? How are we redesigning it as per the current need for the future generations? So the penetration of the digital technologies has made a huge impact, and especially during this pandemic. And how many of us are successful in delivering our lectures, delivering our sessions? How many of us are we really, really successful? Because of this digital aspect, we are connected globally. As we say that, now we are connected globally, from where to which another country, to one country to the other, we can connect, have them on board and talk about it, about our education system. Yes, they are. But at the same time, the entry of the new learning providers in the global networks and the exponential increase in speed of technology, the pace that it is going, it actually is a societal change, bringing in a societal change, are all simultaneously and fundamentally transforming the way of the education system can and must be organized to deliver high quality learning for all. And we are talking about our hybrid education as well, because if we are giving the option, so we have to, are we as a school or the management having a different set of teachers who are doing online education, or a different set of teachers who are doing the physical, the classroom, regular school education? Are we doing that, or are we putting the pressure on our teachers where they would be not able to give the justification when they are when they we ask them to do even online, take regular classes, and again go back and do the online classes? So how can she be more productive, or how can one, even me, including me as an educator, first I consider myself as a teacher. So even if you ask me, I would have to completely shift from from the on eye to eye contact with children to the screen. So how will I be able to make my mindset shift immediately to do that? So these are the things which is exhausting the current paradigm of the education. So what are the key features that we are talking about the new learning system? What is that we need, or what is that we want to have in our system? The initial training for teachers, yes, that is the gap. So how are we doing the training? Are we putting, like, the good old system, like, okay, this is our duty to perform so many sessions of in the school, either it's by our CBSE or ICSE, whether we just want to finish it up for getting the certificate, yes, the school has done the certificate, or has got the certification of, yes, the school is very prompt in conducting trainings, but then how far the trainings are in depth, that has reached out to the teachers? Have we ever thought about it, or are we doing the follow up on that? No, we have to think on that. Students are required to attain industry promulgated, industry valued credentials in order to graduate with a career diploma. So when we talk about career, we take seriously the career options only after 10. Why not start doing it from, the initial stages, to groom them by the time they come to the K-12? If I'm talking about, by the time they come to 12, wouldn't they be able to know or decide or make their own decision? Okay, I'm good at this, I'm good at this, and I think I should be going at it. But he or she may not be able to do that particular decision, but you need not attend external training groups like personality development. You have communication skills classes, you have many other classes which really needs to, for you to come out with the career aspects to think of. Cultural careers and coordinators, innovating learning materials. Yes, the teacher, the culture careers are from one a city, or the one district, or the town, or the city, to a country or a state, differs. So how are we coordinating? What if I am doing in pan India? So I have to design my training or my curriculum in such a way that the North India has a difference, South India has a difference, East has a difference, or the north, South, the West has a difference. Yes, we don't follow uniformity. That's the minus point. Because if we follow in uniformity, none of them would have to hunt for schools. None of them have to really fetch out which is a good school. All schools are good. And it's not necessary that, when we talk about the learning system, the government schools are not learning, or the students are not learning, or the teachers are not good. It is just how you take the education and change the mindset of your own self and the teach and the students. So it is also a gateway to a broader cultural alignments, integrating curriculum through culture, values, and arts. So culture, values, and the arts, we had it when we were as students. We had teachers who were giving us moral science classes. So the same moral science classes, which is now implemented in the, which is mentioned in the new education policy, inculcating values in our children, inculcating arts with our studies, inculcating culture in our studies. So values, so that values are not missed. Gradually, the complete system. Why are we here today? Because we had a strict arrangement of the education system from our teachers. Even today, go ahead down to our teachers, because whatever we are today and whatever we are talking now is based on what the knowledge that they had given. Common vision of the humanistic learning. Until unless you are educated and you are literate, until unless if you're literate with degrees, with whatever you have, but until unless you have the humanity in you, you have the culture in you, you have the value in you, and if you have all these, then you are educated, right? So that is what we have to really bring in with our education system. Create education plan as a basis for new ideas and growth. So we go on continuing monotony, the type, in a way that we are going on doing. But suddenly we wake up one day, oh, it was very monotonous. Let me go ahead and change. So changes cannot happen in a day. It has its own time to get a change. So why don't we do it? Continuous changes in our creativity, in our learning, in our delivering, in our imparting. Why don't we do that? We have to really go ahead and do that. That are the key features of the new learning system. So when we need to see how we look on for the new learning system. We emphasize a new learning system in which whole communities work together to provide experiences that keep every young person on a journey to becoming a change maker. When we talk is communities to work, it is again the vicious circle that I mentioned, the principles, procedure, the learning, the imparting delivery of the teaching or the learning, and then the principal, the school management, the student, very importantly, the parents. The parents, you have to give them the knowledge that what we are doing and how is the education system currently going on in that school. So in that way, when everybody are well informed, it so happens that we are teaching a young generation to become a change maker, a parent to become a change maker, principal or a teacher to become a change maker, if we are really working on those parts. So yes, again here, as I was talking about, the new education policy turning India into a knowledge powerhouse. It's a multiple pathways to make sure or ensure access and opportunity to all children. Multiple pathways, bringing back the dropouts to get the knowledge. Alternative centers where we all know that NIOS is there, homeschooling is there. All these things are coming up because we need to make sure that every young kid, they are getting education, peer tutoring, and then we have learning outcomes. We need to build schools. So all these, when we talk about, are ensuring us the universal access to education at all levels. It's not age limit, but to at all levels. Then again, when we talk about here about the new education system, when we relate it to the new eco-learning, it's very much similar what I spoke about, because this is the effective resourcing and effective governance, what we talk about. So efficient resourcing and effective governance, early childhood care and education, which are segmented into 1.1 to 1.9, 2.1 to 2.9, foundational, let's say 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4. So foundational years, then the middle years, all these, I'm not going in depth in this because it's self-explanatory in itself. So recruitment and deployment, teachers, curriculum integration of essential subjects. So all these, at the same time, inclusive education, not to be left behind. So these are the very major thoughts that each school, when now if the schools are opening, now the COVID, we are ready to face it. And the physical schools are opening, we are having a face-to-face, eye-to-eye contact with the children. Before we enter, just finishing the curriculum is not the only motive, but how well are we designing all these into our teaching, coaching, and mentoring for our students. So, early childhood, as we all know, learning in the formative years, team collaboration, play based and discovery based learning, ethics, self identity, etiquette, behavior, and emotional development, shapes, colors, alphabets, relationship with nature, art and craft, logical thinking, developing curiosity, which is the important factor in our formative years. So components learning, when we talk about again the learning ecosystem, it is all over. It's again a collaboration with our curriculum, or you name it as a content, the learning resources, digital learning tools, the internet, access to the internet, policy, devices such as computer, tablet, or smartphone, accessible space where children could get together and access these devices to learn more. And every teacher can reach out to every child all over the country. That is what should be the learning ecosystem, or the components of learning ecosystem, which has to be fulfilled. It could be by any one of us. There are many NGOs who do that, there are many trusts who do that, and definitely the government also helps. And the biggest work that even Dr. Sunita Gandhi is doing the same. She's reaching out to the rural. So this is what we, each one of us, have to do that. So when we talk about the holistic learning educational ecosystem, it's education 4.0, classroom 4.0, and industry 4.0. When we talk about this, education 4.0 is a response to the needs of the industry, where human and technology are aligned to enable new possibilities. Whereas the education is where the classroom, like the learner, e-learning, blended learning, personalized learning, flexible learning, experiential learning, customized learning, student ownership towards learning, and also mentoring through peers, robust feedback. Feedback is the one that really helps a person to grow, where this classroom includes the faculty, the institute, and the policy makers. How are we adaptable? How are we flexible? How are we imparting or delivering the subject wise or the holistic learning? We say holistic development, but now it's still good if we are focusing on 2030, the holistic learning educational system. How are we going to create the new paradigm into this? So that's where I was talking about this holistic education system. And in the end, let me tell you that the potential of learning ecosystem is new and bigger goals, new skills, roles, and expertise, focusing on the underserved, new players, new power relationships, shape shifting, new metrics. So overall, on this learning ecosystem, our conclusion is that without a doubt, the movement towards the learning ecosystem is full of potential for a transformation in how learning happens. So, this is a food for thought for each one of us to carry on to my lovely audience and to every educator around who are present with us and even, who are offline and online with us. So this is how it is. And a very beautiful quote by Abigail Adam is, learning is not attained by chance. It must be sought with ardor and diligence. So are we doing it? Let us do our work, and let us do our being an educator, let us do our duty diligently. That's where we can bring in the paradigm shift. So yes, thank you so much.
Thank you, Aruna Wadkar, ma'am, for that excellent talk, very relevant talk on the new learning ecosystem. And good evening, everybody. And before we leave, I request you to watch our detox of our disruptive literacy movement by Global Dream, an initiative by Dr. Sunita Gandhi since 2014. This is to ensure everyone's participation by our people's movement in helping India achieve total foundational literacy and numeracy. And we have several talks on this every day. And for the talks that you would like to tune into, please visit 740-840-1000. So thank you, ma'am, so much. Good evening, everybody. Goodbye, and see you again tomorrow. Thank you, ma'am.